How much is it to travel from Namibia to Dubai? Is it safe for a female traveler? Why is Emirates the worst airline? There's no way I'm putting myself in a position of losing expensive and valuable items at the airport, guys. Being from Namibia, how do you apply for an e-visa to the UAE? You can get a flight that's about 15,000. This is something a lot of people don't know, guys. This one, I need you to open your ears to hear me very well.
I was there when I needed someone who wasn't getting over you. When I moved to the side, when I moved on your mind, and I know what you're feeling.
Hi guys, and welcome back to my channel. If this is your first time seeing my face, my name is Emiratess and I'm about to become your favorite YouTuber. If you are a returning subscriber, a regular a day one, you already know how much I love you. Okay guys, so this video is actually long overdue, and I think that for someone who travels a lot and who's always on the go, this is a great video, because a lot of you guys tend to come to my DMs or in the comment section asking me tons of questions regarding travel.
How much this, how much that, this, that, and a third.
So I just decided to film a sit down video where I'll basically be answering questions that you guys sent me on Instagram, because I put up a question thingy. I put up a question tag and I asked you guys to ask me any travel questions you guys had for me. But I'm also going to be doing a travel do's and don'ts. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start with the travel do's and don'ts, and then we're going to head over to the questions that you guys asked me. Okay, these are just random things that people might not know, or it might go over your head, you know, but it's things that matter when you start traveling as much as I do and as much as I aspire to do. You will know that some of the tips that I gave you are golden. So let me start with that. So if I look down, I'll be looking at my phone because I did write them down in my notes. So okay, so we will start with the travel don'ts. Okay, so do not overpack, just pack what you need. I know that I'm one of those people that overpack and feel like I'm not somebody that can pack light, but if you are going somewhere for the first time and you are traveling in economy, for example, I would suggest that you just pack what you need, because one thing that you need to note is that, like, every item that you check in meaning the bag that goes onto the plane, the bag that you give in when you are checking in, that bag has to be a certain weight. I think, did I not? Yes, it has to be 20 kgs. If it's more than 20 kgs, that means that you're gonna have to pay an additional fee, or you're gonna have to take out stuff. And trust me, I've been there, I've done that, where I had to open my entire suitcase in front of people and take out stuff because I didn't want to pay that additional fee. So if you don't want to end up like me, I would suggest that you always make sure that your carry-on bag, your check-in bag is nothing above 20 kgs. And the reason why I mentioned economy was because the weight and the amount of bags that you're able to check in when you're in economy is not the same as when you're in business or in first class. When you're in business or in first class, you are more privileged, so you have more kilograms added to the bag that you can check in, and you might even have more bags that you can check in. Second thing is, never be afraid to ask questions when you're lost. This is a very, very important one, especially when you're traveling internationally for the first time. I would suggest that you ask questions. Anybody that you see around you that looks like they work at the airport, ask them. Do you understand? Like, ask people for help. Otherwise you'll get lost, especially when you have like connecting flights. You get lost and it's just not pretty. So I would suggest you ask questions. Don't just follow people because they were on the same flight as you. That's the biggest mistake people make. People are going in different directions. People are going to different places. The third thing is, is exactly what I mentioned now. If you are connecting, do not follow people just because you are on the same flight. Look at what your ticket says, okay? Because your ticket will have all the information that you need. Sometimes it might not have certain details, like for example the boarding gate, but those are things that you can find out from anybody if you ask the people that work at the airport. Okay, I can't believe this is my last don't, but if something else comes up, I will put it in there. This is a big one. Do not take a window seat for a 5+ hour flight, and especially if you are in economy. I will always emphasize this because things are just different from when you're in economy to when you're in the more privileged, which is like the business in the first class. Guys, I know that a window seat looks so good when you are traveling for like 1 hour, 2 hours, maybe you can even stretch it to 3. But I think if you are on a flight that's 5 hours plus, don't take a window seat, because trust and believe, you're gonna want to pee. You are going to want to pee. And if you take the window seat, it's just, I've been there, and this is why I'm giving you guys this advice. Like, it is not cute, because now everybody has to stand up every time you want to go pee, and it even gets to the point where you feel bad for wanting to pee, you know. So if you're on long flights, I would suggest that you take an aisle seat. Best. That's if you are flying on a long flight and it's economy. So let's move on to the do's. Always arrange transportation. This is a big one. Always arrange transportation 2-3 hours before flight time, and schedule it a day before. So if you are flying to Bali tomorrow, today, call the transportation. If you don't have a boyfriend that's taking you to the airport, call the transportation company today. Like, dial a cab for Namibians, or like Uber, or like Yango, or like Bolt. Schedule that. Guys, you call them, and then you let them know that like you want to schedule your driver to be at your house. So let's say your flight is at 9, you tell the driver to be at yours by 7 or something, you understand? And make sure you're at the airport 2-3 hours before. Like, guys, I don't play those games. I'm not those people. Like, when I went to Dubai last, was the first time I had ever missed a flight in my life. And guess why I missed the flight? I missed the flight because I was in a club. So I suggest you go there 2-3 hours before your flight time, okay? Another do is get travel containers. This is something a lot of people don't know, guys. This one I need you to open your ears to hear me very well, okay? So guys, when it comes to traveling, and you have especially your carry-on luggage, the luggage that you are going to take onto the plane, or the bag, or the duffel, not the duffel bag, or the bag that you're going to be carrying onto the plane, guys, you are not allowed to have anything that's above 90 milliliters. Is it 90 or is it 100? I think it's 100. It's 100 milliliters. You're not allowed to have anything that's above 100 milliliters. So if you have a sunscreen and it's in your bag, because they scan your bag, if it's in your bag, they're gonna see it and they're gonna confiscate it and they're gonna throw it away. Do you understand what I'm saying? It can be the most expensive skincare product you own. You can want to pay anything. There's nothing you can do. They're gonna confiscate it and they're gonna throw it away, and there's nothing you can do. So I would suggest that get yourself travel sized containers, and in those containers you put your stuff. So you just make sure that those containers are below 100 mils, and then instead of taking with the big bottle, you put from the big bottle into the small bottle. Do you understand? So that's a big tip. Yeah, alternative pack. Oh yes, I even wrote it down here. I said if you're going to carry it in your carry-on luggage, put it in a smaller container. Alternatively, you can put it in your check-in luggage, but remember that adds on weight. Okay, another do is try and pack light. Okay, I've already mentioned that in the don'ts. Pack all your valuables in your carry-on luggage, guys. As I mentioned, the carry-on luggage is the luggage that you're going to go on to the plane with, right? In that luggage, I like to pack I don't have a lot of designer items, but the designer items that I do have, I always pack in my carry-on luggage, because there is no way I'm putting myself in a position of losing expensive and valuable items at the airport. Guys, there's no guarantee that when you check in your luggage that like you are gonna get everything in there. And it's also another tip that I would like to add. I would always suggest that you wrap your bags. When you get to the airport, you'll see there are people whose bags are wrapped with like plastics. It's usually about 100 rand, 100 Namibian dollars to wrap your bag. I would rather pay that every single time than lose the things that I have in my bag. Do you understand what I'm saying? So I would suggest that you wrap your bag. But going back to the point that I was making, was that carry your valuables in your carry-on luggage. Okay, so for me, in my carry-on luggage, I always have my designer items, and then I have my shoes, and then I have like just things that I hold very dear to me. I pack in my carry-on luggage. Okay, next, the next point is the one that I just made to you guys. Always wrap your bag. Always wrap your bag, even if you're just traveling from Namibia to Cape Town, or from Namibia to Johannesburg, or you know, those short flights. Don't play with those short flights. You will I've been privileged enough to not have been in a situation where stuff was stolen from my handbag. I know from my handbag, from my suitcases, but I know so many people who've experienced this. So those are my 2 cents. If you're traveling to countries that require a visa, print your visa for safety purposes. So guys, for those of you guys who don't know, every time I've traveled to Dubai, I've had to get a travel visa. So basically, you get a digital form of your travel visa, but sometimes things happen. What if your phone dies? What if, you know? I'm just one of those people that just don't like to leave room for mistakes when it comes to the airport, because there they don't care who you are, they don't care who your mother is, who your boyfriend is, they don't care. Like, the rules are the rules. So I like to print out my visa and just have it when they ask for it. Do you understand what I'm saying? And then, oh, another thing is check in online if you want a good seat. So if you're traveling a one-way flight, I usually travel with Airlink and Emirates and Qatar. Those are the airlines that I remember having used. Oh, and I recently traveled with what is it called? SAA. I recently traveled with SAA. So most airlines, usually the day before your flight, they allow you to check in online, meaning that you can already choose the seat where you want to sit on the plane on your phone. So they send you an email where they say that you can check in online, and when you can check in online, you can also choose the seat that you want to have. So if you want your little window seats, you can do that by checking in online, because when you go check in person, somebody could have taken, or people could have taken the window seats at that point. So yeah. And the last do is if you're traveling to any country, really, most countries, but I'm going to use South Africa as a reference. When you're traveling to that country and you're not necessarily visiting anybody in particular, you should download Uber. I've never used Bolt before. I trust Uber more because I'm more familiar with Uber, but download Uber. That is how I would get, like, from the airport to my hotel, from my hotel to the mall, from the mall to wherever it is that I want to go. Download Uber and use that app. And guys, this is just a little backstory. When I went to Cape Town, I think if you watch that vlog, you do know the story, but I went to Cape Town some time ago, and after a night out, I had forgotten my phone and my AirPods in the Uber, and luckily it was an Uber Black. I'm not saying that if it wasn't an Uber Black, I wouldn't have gotten my stuff, but I think the chances of you getting certain things back is higher when you travel with Uber Black. I don't know, I think that's just what I think. So I had forgotten my phone and my AirPods in the Uber, and I only realized when I got to my room, and at that point it was already like 3-4 a.m. and I couldn't do anything because I didn't Uber myself. My friend had Ubered me home because my phone had died. and I was so stressed. Fast forward, basically the next day I was able to get my phone back. I got my phone back and I got my AirPods back. I was the happiest girl. So that has been my experience with Uber. So I would always suggest Uber because that's the transportation service that I know best. Okay, so now we're gonna move over to the questions that you guys had on my Instagram. Okay, this is a random question. How did it feel the first time the plane was taking off and landing? I don't know, I think for me it feels, I don't know, for me personally, I don't mind the takeoff. The landing is always what gets to me, because once you when the plane is about to land, it's usually quite high in the sky, and it obviously has to come down. Like, that is what really does something to my stomach. But overall it's okay. Like, I think I was more excited the first time I had to travel, more than I was nervous. So I wasn't really like afraid. Like, I wasn't. Okay, some of these questions are not about traveling and I don't want to answer. Okay, how much is it to travel from Namibia to Dubai? Okay, so I'm gonna give you guys details in terms of like flights, especially because I think most people want to know about the flights. So guys, if you are traveling from Namibia to Dubai, I would also like to add the visa part. So you can get your visa done in Dubai, however you can also get your visa done here in Namibia. So I used to use a specific lady that a friend referred to me, and I would pay like 2,400 2,500 Namibian dollars, rands, same thing. I would pay that much to get my visa done to go to Dubai and to basically book a flight. So if you're booking if you're booking economy, you can get a flight that's about 15,000. Yeah, because if you're traveling from Namibia though, because if you're traveling from Namibia, mind you, you need to get a flight from Namibia to South Africa, from South Africa to Dubai, depending on the airline. So if you take Emirates goes straight, because it's basically a Dubai airline. So you go straight from Joburg or from Cape Town to Dubai. So that's economy. And when it comes to business class, you can pay up to 8k, 80,000, 70,000, 60, depending on when you are booking. And another important point that I also like to make to you guys is when you book your flight matters. Like,
the sooner the date is, the more expensive the flight is going to be.
Okay, remember that. If you book your ticket last minute, you will have a nice last minute price on whatever website you book for whichever airline. Okay, I think that answers the question a bit. In terms of hotels, I think the hotels vary, guys, and most of you guys know that when I would travel to Dubai, I wouldn't necessarily stay at hotels. I would stay at hotels here and there, but because I knew somebody that lived there, I would stay with them, or my partner is there, so that's obviously where I would stay. But when it comes to hotels are fairly expensive. You can get something, I will put links in the bio, and then I'll put links in my description box, and then you guys can go check out different hotels. But when it comes to hotels, it varies, guys. It really varies. Like, I cannot give you a range as to say, yeah, this amount. But I will add that Dubai is very expensive, guys. Dubai is very expensive for somebody that comes from Namibia or even just from South Africa. Like, Dubai is really, really expensive because the currency of Dubai is like 1 Namibian dollar is 5 dirham, so everything is ×5 more often than not. So yeah, I've never stayed in an Airbnb. I'm sure you can find like really, really affordable Airbnbs if you travel to Dubai. Yeah, so that's basically all I can give you guys in terms of like accommodation. But when it comes to the visa and the ticket, those prices, or the prices that I told you guys, are fairly accurate. Okay, somebody asked any specific requirements when you go to Dubai. Also flight ranges. I did give you guys flight ranges. I also told you guys about the visa. would you stay in Cape Town? Is it safe for a female traveler? I would definitely say I would stay in Cape Town. If I had to go to South Africa and had to choose one city, I would choose Cape Town. Cape Town is very tourist friendly. They have so many things that you can do, and like I said, if you are traveling by yourself, if you Uber yourself to most places, I think you're more likely to be on the safer side than taking the public transport, which is like the taxis and stuff. I've never tried a taxi because I'm just afraid. I would rather be on the safer side of things. So I would say Cape Town is fairly safe, and it's also a lot more affordable. It's tourist friendly. If you save, you can definitely afford to go on a trip to Cape Town at the end of the year. Which countries don't need a visa? I'm going to put a video at the end of this video. I'm going to put a video on the end to show you guys the countries that Namibians don't need visas for, okay? When you arrive to your destination, how do you get transport to your hotel? I mentioned that I use Uber. I download the app, and another thing that people need to note is that, like, Namibians, the way transport works is different. So Uber, you will need to connect it to your bank card, but it's safe. So even when you are requesting a ride, they will deduct the money. If you cancel the ride before the driver gets there, then they will reverse the money. So it's quite safe to connect it to your card, but as I mentioned, Uber. When you get to the airport, where do you start? You just sit and wait for departure? No, my love. So what happens is, when you get to the airport, you will enter, and then you will see there are different, I'll call them, can I call them terminals? Yeah, there are different terminals, and each terminal will have like what can I call it? Each terminal will have banners on the sides, but then it will also have like a television on top that says which airline it is from. So let's say, for example, you're traveling to Cape Town and you booked with Airlink. When you get to the airport, you will see there's an Airlink terminal, and then you get to that terminal, and that's where you check in. The check-in I was telling you guys about earlier, that's where you check in. So that's where you show them your passport. They check if there's a flight booked for the specific passport. They confirm everything. They give you your ticket, and then after they give you a ticket, you go through to security clearance. So then you have to go to security clearance, where they will scan your bags, and where they scan your bags is where they see if you have the 100 milliliters. So if you have items that are above 100 milliliters, they will confiscate those things. They will confiscate those things. And then after you pass security clearance is now when you go sit. That's where you see most people are having a drink, taking pictures, you know, that's when you're waiting for departure. So it's a bit of a process. How to book a flight? Okay, that's a tricky one, guys. Booking a flight is quite simple. Like, it's very straight to the point. Let's say you want to travel with Airlink. You go on Google, you say www.airlink.com. You go on Airlink's website, and it will give you, everything is very clear. Everything is like, it's basically, they made it so simple that even a child can do it. So they will show you there, what's the airport you're departing from, what's the airport you'll be landing at. You choose your dates, boom, and then they show you the flights available, the times of the different flights. They'll also show you what else will they show you? The prices of the different flights, so you can choose, okay, do I want to take a morning flight? Oh, but the morning flight is a bit expensive. Let me take the afternoon flight because it's a bit cheaper, you know. Yeah, so it's very simple to book a flight, extremely simple. I think I will insert a screen recording of me attempting to book a flight to the Maldives right over here. Okay, so obviously first we go on to Google, and then I know we said that we're going to book a flight to Mauritius in the previous clip, but I think it's just easier to show you guys how to book a flight from Namibia to, let's say, South Africa. Okay, so we're going to use Airlink for this video. There we go, Airlink flights, and then you have the website. So I would go to book flights, accept and continue. Okay, let me just fix the lighting. There we go. we would be typing in the airport that you're going from here. However, if you're typing in the city of where the airport is located and it doesn't want to go through, then you should probably go here. You should probably go there and then make sure that it says Namibia or whichever country you are booking your flight from. All right, so let's continue. So we're going to type in Windhoek, Namibia. Okay, let's just make sure about the airport. So we say Windhoek, Namibia, right? And let's say we are booking a trip to Cape Town. And we say Cape Town. And there we have it, Cape Town, South Africa. Okay. So once you've done that, we go ahead and we choose our dates. So let's say we are flying out end of the month on a nice Thursday. Okay, you select and then you select the date that you are coming back. So let's say we are coming back on a Monday, right? So now we've chosen our date. Okay, so it says here we're going on the 29th and we're coming back on the 4th of March. And right after you've inserted all your information, also make sure that it's a round trip if you're going on a round trip, or if you're booking a one-way, and make sure that you've selected the class, whether it's economy class or whatsoever class you'd like to choose. And then we go ahead and we search flights. All right, so now remember we said we're going on the 29th. What I do like about Airlink is that even if you put in the date that you want to go on, it will give you the options of the other possible dates. All right, so as I mentioned to you guys in the video, it's around about 3,000 depending on when you're booking. So these are the available dates and these are the prices. All right, so we want to go on the 29th. So the ticket for the 29th is 3,440. So you would click there. You say, okay, that's the one that I want to choose. And then you move down and then you will choose the one you want to come back for, or your return ticket. So as I mentioned to you guys, you see, here's one for 2,200. And then we have 4,000 and then we have 3,000. We have another 2,000 over here. So it can be affordable if you book in advance. So let's say, for example, well, I wanted to come back on a Monday, but it looks like it's cheaper to come back on the Wednesday. So we choose the Wednesday instead. And then there you have it. And then they'll give you your subtotal, everything, the day you're leaving, the day you're coming back, everything. And then your subtotal. They'll ask you to continue. Okay, once you've done that, all right, you remember when I told you guys that they do allow you to choose your flight times? So these are the times that are available: 7 o'clock in the morning, 1 o'clock in the afternoon. I need more time. Right, so they allow you to choose. Okay, so remember we chose the ticket that was 3,400. So obviously the others are way more expensive because they are later in the day. So we're going to choose the same one we chose. Okay, all right, and then you move down, and then remember the one we chose was 2,000. So we're just going to pick this one. And then it's gonna load. Right, so there we have it. It shows your departure, your return. Okay, it gives you all the details about your flight, the charges, and then you continue. And then we'll basically reach the final stage. So if you look up here, we've selected our flights, dates, picked the prices, and now it's time to book. So obviously here, you would have to insert your details. And then once you're done doing that, you will move over to paying. And when it comes to paying, you will be paying via your card. And yeah, so that's basically how you book a flight. Right, okay, next question. Aren't you afraid to travel on your own? No, I'm actually not afraid to travel on my own. I'm not afraid to do a lot of things on my own. I live on my own. I was born on my own. Joking, but like I was actually, but like the point I'm trying to make is that like I'm not afraid to travel on my own, because one thing about traveling is once you start doing it, you learn how to do it swiftly, you know, like it's not something that stresses you out. It's actually something that calms you, like you're excited about it. So I have no reason really to be afraid. Like, what am I afraid of? Being from Namibia, how do you apply for an e-visa to the UAE? What I will also do about this is I will link the contact details of the people who I use to do my visa. I contact them, like the lady's name is Megan. I always contact them, and the visa takes about 3 to 4 days. I haven't mentioned this, guys. The visa takes about 3 to 4 days, depending on what time of the week it is that like you decided to get the visa. Also depending on what's happening in the world, because sometimes people get an influx of requests to get like an e-visa, maybe because something is happening in Dubai or in the UAE. So it varies. Besides a passport, what does one need? You just need money. That's it. You just need your passport and money. Obviously, certain countries you need a visa, but other than your passport, you don't need much. Obviously, if you're going somewhere, you need to reserve accommodation, you need to, you get me? But outside of money, you don't need much. You just need your passport, because your passport is basically your ticket to leave the country. So as long as you have left the country and you have money, you can go do whatever. You can even go book a hotel the same night you arrived. I wouldn't do that though. Because you might arrive and the hotel is fully booked, and that's an inconvenience. But yeah, how do you prepare your body for flights? Takeoff, landing are painful. Long flights, tiredness. Well, for me, I don't do anything particular to prepare myself. I just go. Like, guys, I think I run off of excitement when it's time to travel. Like, it's very rare that I have like fears. If I have fears, it's maybe something that's going to happen at the destination or something, but I'm never stressed about the journey. In terms of like tiredness, in the long flights, the advice that I gave you guys, which was to pick out seats, those are the things that help a lot. Like for me, like it just makes it easier for you. Like if you're on a long flight, some people go on flights for 15 hours, guys, so you can at least stand up, walk around a bit, you know. And yeah, that I don't do anything in particular. And honestly, for me, like with long flights, yeah, I want to work so hard in my life that business class and up is all that I have to do. Like it's those are the only type of flights that I'm booking, especially when it's like a long flight. I've never been on a long flight, because a flight to Dubai is just 8 hours. But if I had to go on a flight that's like 10 plus hours, I would really want to be in business class, because guys, I'm telling you, the experience in business class, you understand why people pay that extra amount, that 80k, that 90k, that 70k, depending on when you book it, to be in business class. Because guys, you are able to lie down, your back, it doesn't hurt, because economy, it's not easy. But like business class is really nice. Like you can just lean back, you're drinking champagne, you know, like it's really nice. But yeah, to answer the question, I don't do anything in particular to prepare. How does one get a taxi when you get to a whole new country? Okay, I've already explained that to you guys. What essentials to take with? I've already given you like tips about the essentials in terms of like the goodies that you pack. I don't think there's anything in particular that I can say take this with, because I don't know where you're traveling to. Do you understand? If you say you're going to Dubai around July, which was the time that I went for the first time, I would say pack a mini fan because it's hot. Do you get me? So like different countries have like, do you understand? It depends where you're going. Mode of travel, any tips? Cheapest outcome. Whew. Cheapest outcome, I would say plan in advance. Plan in advance, because when you book things last minute, and like when you book things in peak season, people have pushed up their prices. So I would definitely say plan well in advance so that you can get good prices when it comes to accommodation, good prices when it comes to flights, good prices when it comes to, you know, a lot of things. So plan well in advance. That's what I would say. Cost of living, probably a weekend in SA. Any advice on it? I would say cost of living, if you were to spend a weekend in SA, let's say Cape Town for example, so your flight might be 3,000 depending on when you book it. So flights vary between 2,000 and 3,000 from Namibia to Cape Town, even from Namibia to Joburg. It just depends when you are booking. Remember this, I want it to be stuck in your mind. When you are booking matters. So that's like about 6,000. That's almost 6,000 for a flight, a return flight. But if you're lucky, you can get one for like 4 or 5K depending on when you book it. So accommodation, let's say you're staying for a weekend, you can even get like an Airbnb that's like 600, 700, 800. Yeah, you know, so let's assume you chose something for like 800. That's like 800. So let's do this. It's the 6,000. We're just gonna say 6,000 for the tickets, and then we're gonna say 800. So you're only sleeping for 2 nights, right? 800 times 2, that's 1,600. What am I saying? 1,600 plus your flight ticket, which was about 6,000. That's about 7,600. And when it comes to like entertainment, I think you only need about like 3-4K. If you want to go do extravagant things, expensive restaurants, then obviously you need to up your entertainment budget. But if you're like an average person, you just want to go for mostly the experience and do more touristy stuff, I think you need like 3-4,000. Because that's like restaurants, and that's also like going out, that's also like the touristy stuff, because the touristy stuff aren't for free. Some of the things you actually have to pay for, maybe wine tasting, you know. So I would say let's add a 3,000. So overall you can probably budget about a 10,000, 11,000 if you want to go on a weekend trip to Cape Town. Budget about 10,000, 11,000. Just to be, if you have a lot of money to spare and you save throughout the year, you can save yourself a nice round 15,000, and then you can take yourself to Cape Town. Literally. Why is Emirates the worst airline? Well, I guess I just said that out of being upset about it. But I wouldn't say it's the worst airline, but I'm gonna give you guys the reasons as to why Emirates isn't the most convenient airline to book with if you are somebody that's as flexible as I am. So the thing about Emirates is, guys, if you're booking with Emirates and you're booking from Namibia, even if you're booking from South Africa, as long as you are taking connecting flights with Emirates, you cannot change your flight online. You actually need to call them, and somebody maybe from the call center can help you change your flight. But you know how in most cases, if you've flown before, you know that you can change your flight online. You cannot change your flight online with Emirates. And for me, that's a big inconvenience, because sometimes things happen, you know. Either I want to stay longer or I want to make my trip shorter. Do you get me? So that for me is an inconvenience, because why? And the reason that it says online is that, like, because there are other, because it's connected, you know. When you take the Emirates flight from Dubai, you're gonna go connect with a different airline in South Africa. So for me, I just find that extremely inconvenient. Do Namibians need an invitation letter for South Africa? No. Namibians can travel visa free. They can travel. The only thing one ever needed to travel to South Africa was during COVID, when you needed to have that COVID card, yeah, that was the only time I remember needing something when I traveled to South Africa. How much should you budget if you want to travel on a solo trip to Cape Town? I think we already said that, so you can budget yourself a nice little 15,000 and you can be on your way. So yeah guys, I think that is a wrap. I have answered all the questions. If you guys have any more questions, please don't hesitate to comment those questions down below. I love you guys. I really hope that this video was informative, and I really hope that you guys were able to take tips from this video, because these are things that nobody ever told me when I started traveling. I actually had to learn some of these things the hard way. Lost a lot of products, lost a lot of this, a lot of that, but that's how we learn. But because I am here to be your sister and to show you the way, I am giving you guys the tips and the advice that I wish somebody gave me. Well, like I said, it's a wrap. Thank you guys so much for stopping back by. I love you guys. Bye.
Countries Namibian citizens can travel to visa-free: Angola, Anguilla, Antigua and Barbuda, Bahamas, Bangladesh, Belize, Benin, Bermuda, Bolivia, Botswana, Brazil, British Virgin Islands, Burundi, Cambodia, Cape Verde Islands, Cayman Islands, Comoro Islands, Cook Islands, Cuba, Dominica, Dominican Republic.